Shalom. This week we are reading Parashat Ki Tavo, beginning in Sefer Devarim, Deuteronomy chapter 26. First thing that we encounter in the Parsha is the unique and beautiful commandment of the first fruits. Again, Moshe Rabbeinu is not going to be coming into the land of Israel, into Eretz Israel, summarizing his entire career and message to the people of Israel, and here tells them, and it will be, and this is actually an expression of joy. We have a principle in the writings of our sages that whenever the word v'haya is used, it's an expression of joy. V'haya, and it will be when you come into the land which Hashem, your God, gives you for an inheritance, and you shall possess it and settle in it, that you shall take of the first of all of the fruit of the ground which you will bring from your land, which Hashem, your God, is giving you. And you shall put them into a basket, and go to the place which Hashem, your God, will choose to have his name dwell there. The verses continue and tell us the entire process of coming to the particular Kohen who is at that time serving in the temple and making a very special and singular declaration. I declare this day to Hashem, your God, that I have come to the land which Hashem swore to our forefathers and give us. And the Kohen takes the basket and lays it before the altar of Hashem. And then there's this whole declaration which is almost like a very concise summary of Jewish history, and it is a tremendous expression of gratitude and recognition of Hashem's hand in our lives. We skip to verse 11, tells us, Then you shall rejoice with all the good that Hashem your God has granted you and your household, the Levite and stranger who is among you. And it's a very, very unique commandment. First of all, it is a commandment that can only be fulfilled in the land of Israel. Second of all, it can only be fulfilled with those particular 7 species of fruit for which the land of Israel is praised. Many times people say, I read about this in the Torah, that there's a commandment of the first fruit, and I want to do it where I live in Iowa or somewhere. And the fact is, this is a very specific commandment that is a connection physically and metaphysically between people of Israel and the land of Israel. Is done with the very special fruit that the Torah itself in several verses actually praises the land of Israel through. And what is this, and it will be, v'haya, and our sages tell us that is always used as a signal, an expression of joy. This is a concept of the true joy that can only be felt really living in the land of Israel. And this commandment is to be performed when the land is possessed and settled and divided according to its inheritance. And another thing that our sages derive, the fact that, since the verse tells us, then you shall rejoice, that it has to be at a special time of rejoicing. When is the special time on the calendar year when joy is most felt? Here in the land of Israel, between the time of Shavuot and the time of Sukkot, which is the time of harvest, when the land is being harvested. So actually, when we think about the various dimensions of this commandment, the idea of bringing the first fruits, it's really quite amazing. It's a very physical expression of joy, yet it's something that the Torah is measuring joy with, v'haya, and then you shall rejoice with all the good that Hashem your God has given you. So we're measuring our joy at coming home and taking root in the land of Israel and living here. We're measuring that through the prados. And of course there's always the dimension of the fact that this is the cure for a person who thinks that everything is the fruit of his own labor. This is the cure for a person who can forget God, because at the moment of the greatest pride and the greatest joy and the greatest kind of self-centeredness, when after all of the hard work that the farmer has put into the earth, he sees the first fruit becoming ripe, instead of grabbing it and devouring it, he ties a band around it, and he marks it as the first fruit, and he brings it up to Jerusalem, up to the Holy Temple. The Holy Temple, which is the very center of consciousness, which is the central theme of the whole Torah, which is the meeting place between the divine and man, which is the center of creation. To there we bring our fruit, the fruit of the ground, and we lay it down before the altar. We make this incredible declaration to the Kohen of cognizance of Hashem's role in our destiny and of thanks. And one can look at this and be so astounded, it's just some fruits. But yet the Torah considers this to be the greatest expression of joy, and something already tells us of the joy that we could be experiencing, that we should be experiencing, that we are designed to feel when we totally are connected to Eretz Israel, to the land of Israel, to being here and to seeing the blessing that Hashem gives us every day, and to realizing this is not a simple thing. The fruit of the land is not something that we can give ourselves credit for. We make this statement of appreciation to the Kohen, the emissary, as it were, of God. And some of this, I think, speaks very profoundly to our generation regarding the centrality and the importance of living in the land of Israel. And the Torah's simple message that true joy can only be felt in the land of Israel, as expressed through something which could seem so commonplace and everyday as just working the land with simple faith and labor and bringing forth fruits. And this is, as it were, the real heaven. This is the real paradise, to be living in the land of Israel according to Torah and to be fulfilling Hashem's commandments. This is joy, and bringing forth the fruit of our labors and realizing that everything comes from Hashem. And so many people today think, the land of Israel is something far-fetched. It's something that we can't think that we could actually live there. It's something just doesn't really belong to this world. And that's a mistake that people are making. The land of Israel is actually a very real place. And there's nothing more real about living a life of Torah and fulfilling the commandments of Hashem than living like a human being and seeing the fruits of our labors and realizing that it's the blessing of Hashem. And it's just such a real and tangible thing. So all throughout history, people have had this idea, long ago, hundreds of years ago, when moving to Israel was something that seemed to be impossible, and that would take some sort of superhuman courage. And yet people came to the land of Israel, and for example, the great tzaddik Rabbi Nachman was very emphatic about the importance of moving to the land of Israel and how it's the center of the whole Torah. And he would say, wherever I go, I'm actually only going to the land of Israel. Every step I take is taking me towards the land of Israel. And when someone asked, should I really go to Israel? You mean that place, that particular land? He said, I mean this land of Israel with these stones and these houses, not something far-fetched, not something in Never Never Land, but this land of Israel, this our land that Hashem has given us. And we see this so clearly from the commandments that Moshe is exhorting the people of Israel, and they will come into the land to express their joy, the joy of being in the land of Israel, through the bringing of the first fruits.